Hello and welcome to a VO's Journey podcast. My name is Anthony Pica. This show is all about helping the new and upcoming voiceover artists grow their business and sidestep all of the crazy things that I seem to step on. Today is an amazing Monday. I'm so excited to be doing this podcast. This is episode 146, and the funny thing is I never know what episode it is, so I had to go and look real quick, but it is episode 146, and today I'm super excited to be talking to you about a new fork in the road. I think we all come to these moments when we have opportunities that we didn't expect to happen and we didn't realize that they were going to creep up on us, but then they do, and we have to go with them or make U-turns or turn, left or right or whatever. So I'm super excited to be talking to you about a new fork in the road in my business, and hopefully it will help you with the forks that come up in your business. Let's do it.
This is VO's Journey. With your host, the incomparable Anthony Pica.
Okay, so I know that was pretty ambiguous, what I just said. But basically, I kind of just want to go over with you what's happening right now in my business and, what's going on and what I am seeing moving forward. So basically, things are going wonderful. My voiceover business is going great. But, as you know, I do a lot of coaching and I help a lot of voice actors. And it's amazing because I love teaching. I love helping. It's always been a passion of mine, connecting with people one-on-one. That moment when the light bulb goes off between two people together and a new realization is born. I don't know. That sounds corny, I guess, but it's I don't know. It's just special to me. I love it. It makes me feel that I'm actually helping people and helping this world. So anyways, the point is, I love coaching. I love that part of my business. But where I'm going with all of this is that, what's amazing is that part of my business is growing at an exponential rate. And it's becoming such a big part of my business that it is starting to pass the amount of money that I am making with my voiceover work. And, and on top of that, it is taking up double the amount of time that I have to do other things. And please don't get me, I love it. I love being a voiceover coach and a voiceover business coach and an acting coach. I love it. It really is fun. And I love, but see, the thing is, I love doing voiceover work, but it's like a fork in the road. And now it doesn't have to be a fork in the road per se, but it definitely has, again, made me look at my journey. It's funny, when I started this journey years ago, I never thought I would be in the position I am now, because like you guys have known, like I've said on my podcast before, that, when I started, I always, the goal was to become full-time, but there was never goals beyond that. You know what I mean? Like I didn't have any goals beyond full-time. So, what comes next really is, up in the air until I set goals for it. And of course I have set goals, but I think that it's growing to a point where it's far out pacing what I've set for myself. And I love it. I'm excited about it. And it's wonderful. But it's starting to make me realize that there are some decisions that I need to make. Because you and I know that it takes a lot of time to market yourself as a voice actor, as well as taking a lot of time to, do social media work, do things like this podcast, like my daily videos that I do. I just released, I'm super excited about this. On a side note, I just released a brand new blog post called voices.com versus voice123. I compared the two sites. I spent days researching and looking up, things on the sites, off the sites. I found some cool video, like under the table video about the owners talking about the creation of Voice123, and just all kinds of really cool stuff. And I wanted to, give that to the world because, I always am asked, and I wonder too, which site is better or which site should I join? And instead of, giving my opinions about things, I wanted to kind of give an unbiased comparison. So I just posted that. That's on my website under the blog section, which you can find if you actually just scroll all the way to the bottom of the site. But also if you're part of the groups, I emailed that out and I posted it in the Facebook groups and so forth. And I put it on my Facebook page so you could see that as well. But anyways, I'm really enjoying helping as many people as I am and building this part of my business too. So it's got me starting to think and look at my situation and say, what is my next steps? Do I continue the way I'm going, which I plan on it, but how much more time do I throw at trying to grow more, voiceover work, or do I just continue the path and keep doing more and more coaching? You know what I mean? What can I handle both? And then I don't know those answers because I'm down another road that I've not been on before, and I know I'm probably going to stumble and I'm going to fall and make some more mistakes. But don't worry, I'll tell you all about it here. But it's interesting. So the reason I'm telling you this is because it makes me think back too about when I was coming to those different forks in the road in my business, my voiceover business before this time, right? And something that you might run into, like for example, there was a time when I was doing so many audiobooks that it was just crazy. Like I was doing 8 to 10 audiobooks at once, right? I mean, literally I had them all and I was doing them all at once. And that, that was just insane, right? But then at the same time, I started getting more commercial work, and my other parts of my voiceover business took off, and I was at a fork in the road. I had to make a decision. Do I pursue doing just audiobooks? Because at the time, I mean, there were so many, I could have just narrowed my focus in on one aspect and just ran with it, forever. Or do I slow down over here, start not accepting as much work and start accepting more work over here and grow this part of my business in the hopes that it builds up beyond more, like I could make more money at a shorter period of time than the audiobooks, which I made great money on, right? So that was a fork in the road decision. There was another decision. Do I buy gear when things are going okay? How do I know, is it time for me to buy gear to move on to the next step? And then I don't really have I didn't budget money for it, but I feel it in my heart that it's the right decision to make. So I do it, even though I might feel guilty. I know I've got to do things. And I don't know if you've ever been in that position or you are, but I bought a lot of gear throughout this journey that I probably shouldn't have, or I should have waited, but I didn't want to wait because I knew that there was things that I needed to move forward to grow my business. So anyways, that's kind of like what I felt, what's going on in my mind. It translates to all of us at different parts of our journey. Again, I never would have thought, but again, it's a pleasant thing to be a part of so many voice actors' lives and helping them. I love it. I've always loved teaching, like I've said, but I love teaching adults. And it's funny because I came from being a teacher, right? I mean, that's what I did for most of my life besides acting and of course, voice acting. I was a theater teacher and an acting coach and a director. So, it's always been a part of what I love to do, but I think I like to do both. And I don't want to be one of those people who help, other actors and voice actors and not do any voice acting myself. But there does come a time where, you have to look at what's happening in your business and make a decision and say, this is working, this is not working. There's a lot of potential over here. It seems to be growing for me. And this over here does not seem to be growing for me, although it seems like I'm more comfortable doing the activities over here, but this part over here seems to be where there's even more opportunity. You know what I mean? And where do how do you strike that balance? You've got to put yourself out there and follow, here's the thing, you've got to follow where you're making money from, but at the same time, if I have learned anything after these almost 40 years, right, that I've been on this planet, it is the lesson that no matter what I do, if I am happy doing it, it's going to make me wealthier than any amount of money I can make. And of course, on a side note, the happier I am at doing something, it seems to be the more money I make. but it's the happiness itself. It's the calm. It's the feeling of serenity that all of this brings when you are doing something you were meant to do. And I can tell you for a fact that I know the difference, because for most of my life, I lived things that I wasn't enjoying. And I thought to myself, okay, and here's the crazy thing, because I'm sitting here telling you about my teaching and my coaching business and how that's growing wonderfully, and it's just skyrocketing. But I didn't like being a teacher. But the thing is that this is a different style of teaching. And listen, if you're a teacher out there, you know what I'm talking about. And if you're not, you probably still understand. I mean, there's different teaching at different places, right? Like working with young adults, children is wonderful. It is a blessing, and the people who do it are incredible people. But it can get exhausting, and you are also in an environment where you don't make any of the decisions. You don't determine the outcome. You don't have any power. And on top of that, it is what it is. But most of think about it. Kids are required to go to school, right? They don't want to be there because they want to be there. And yes, as a teacher, you have the power to make it exciting for them. But still, when I was in school, I don't care how exciting the teacher was. If I didn't have to go to school, I wasn't going to school. I didn't go to school to see my teachers. Probably the only reason I would go to school was to play sports, at the time, or be in the theater production. But that was about, that was about it. So what I'm saying is here, everyone I work with, of course, wants to be here. And I want to be working with them. And we want to have, get to the best outcome as possible. And there's excitement in that. And it is all revolving around voiceover. So it's like the best of every single world. Right? And if you find a part of your voiceover business that makes you feel that way, you got to hold on to it and go with it with all of your might, even if it's not making you the majority of what money you make. Now, I've also learned this too, right? And this is from the experience, because, we all have a great amount of experience in our lives, and we shouldn't throw common sense away. So, part of my common sense throughout, my previous time working in other jobs, right, is that you don't, throw away income, or you don't throw away other, smaller opportunities just to chase a wild dream at that time. You still need to build a foundation. And, so that's why, I think it's important that if you are making, for example, maybe you are doing commercial work, but you really want to do e-learning. You've always loved to do that style of coaching or teaching, and you want to be a part of that, and you'd love to do that full time, as opposed to just, doing commercial work or audiobooks or something. But yet you are getting commercial work, right? I'm not telling you don't quit getting the commercial work, but just at the simultaneously start making moves to also promote doing e-learning, right? Do what makes you happy, because gosh, I have been in this booth literally falling asleep. I have been, doing the work, and I know you guys have too, right? Where it is just, it's exhausting, right? Because we are chasing a dream. But here's the thing. If you don't have passion for it and you don't love it, you're not going to do it when it really gets hard. You're not going to go after the 10 books at a time, right? And and lose your voice and keep going even if your voice is gone. Like, you're not going to do all of that. You're not going to, put your children, you're not going to put your children to bed and not get into sleeping with next to your wife. You're going to say, I'm not, that's not me. I don't do that sort of thing. I mean, failure is littered with I won't. It's littered with I won'ts. And you could tell someone's passion by what they will do, not what they won't do. And, I think, though, that in the end, if we don't have that passion and love for it, we're going to fade out and we're not going to be able to get through the moments and the times that are hard. And I know I'm preaching to, people who know this. We all know this. We've lived our lives. We know that. And that's why I love this business and I love working with people. So I hope that this podcast is at least giving you some ideas about follow what you love in voiceover. Don't give up what you're making right now. You know what I mean? Hey, listen, maybe you hate Fiverr. Maybe you hate Fiverr with all of your being. You can't stand it. Like it just pisses you off to high heaven. And that's okay. All right, it's okay to not like things and to be angry with them, but you're like, I make money on that platform. I can't just leave it, but I don't want that. I want to have all my own business that doesn't go through Fiverr. And that's fine. It's if that's what you want, that's great. Start making the moves to make that happen. I mean, of course you know that I love Fiverr, and I have spent years figuring that platform out and doing everything I can, and I think it's a great platform, but I also know that it's not for everybody. Do you know what I mean? And that's okay. Just like Upwork is not for everybody, or Amazon, ACX is not for everybody, or Voices.com or Voice123 is not for everybody. Like there's so much out there that's not for people, and that's fine. But don't give up on your dream, and don't stop doing something because it's not exactly working at the moment. Okay? It will work in time if you keep going for it. And when it does, you're going to come to new forks in the road and new exciting challenges, but you got to keep going in order for those new exciting opportunities to show themselves. All right, I felt like channeled my Tony Robbins there towards the end. All right, you guys, thank you so much for listening and sharing with me how much time. We spent about 17 minutes of me just preaching on about what's going on in my head. I can't thank you enough for continuing to listen to me. I appreciate it. If you get an opportunity, leave a review. I would love that. And check out that blog post. I think you're going to really love it. Again, it's voices.com versus Voice123, and I really put a lot of time into it, and I plan on coming out with these comparisons and these versus blog posts on all the different websites out there for us, and all kinds of different things and alternatives. And I think I've gotten so many questions. I think there's a need for it out there, and I'd love to make it available for people. And I enjoy researching and finding out about these places and who started these businesses. And a lot of these people were voice actors. I mean, the two founders of Voice123, the co-founders were husband and wife, and she was a voice actress, and they couldn't get any, she wasn't getting any work and spending all this money. And so, they both decided they were going to start a website to try to see if they could, generate some money. And they found out there was other people there. And at the time they weren't, although Voices.com and Voice123 started at the same time, which I think is interesting. But anyways, I'll let you read the blog article. It was lots of fun to write. Took me a few days. I don't think I've ever spent days writing an article, but I thought that this was worth it and it deserved it. So thank you guys so much. You have a wonderful, wonderful week. I will talk to you soon. Peace.